God says, "My child, listen to me carefully now. Do not let fear rush your heart, but do not ignore the weight you feel either. The reason you were drawn to open this message is not random. It is not coincidence. It is not curiosity. It is connection. A deep, spiritual connection that ties your soul to another soul I have joined with yours long before you ever knew their name. Your soulmate's body has been speaking in whispers, and those whispers are beginning to grow louder. Not to frighten you, but to warn you in time. I see what no doctor has seen yet. I hear what no one around them has noticed. I feel the silent struggle happening beneath their smile. There is a quiet imbalance forming, a doorway that should not open, a weakness trying to settle into their body. It is not fully there yet. Listen to me carefully, not yet. That is why you are here now. That is why I called you before the damage could become deep. Your soulmate has been pushing themselves far beyond what their body was designed to carry. They have been strong for too long. Holding emotions they never released. Carrying responsibilities they never shared. Smiling through exhaustion. Laughing while ignoring pain. Telling themselves, "I will rest later. I will deal with this later. I cannot stop now." But the body keeps score, my child. Every tear they swallowed. Every fear they buried. Every night they lay awake pretending everything was fine. All of it has been stored quietly. And now, their body is asking for attention in the only way it knows how. You may have sensed something already. A sudden heaviness in your chest for no reason. A strange thought about them appearing out of nowhere. A dream where they looked tired, pale, or distant. These were not random thoughts. These were spiritual alerts. I was tapping your heart gently, saying, "Pray. Pay attention. Do not ignore this. Understand this clearly, this is not a death message. This is a divine interruption. I interrupt before destruction. I warn before collapse. I speak before it is too late. There is one specific weakness trying to enter your soulmate's body. It feeds on stress, emotional pressure, and long-term neglect of rest. It grows quietly. Slowly. It disguises itself as normal tiredness, temporary pain, just stress. And because your soulmate is kind, responsible, and emotionally deep, they keep telling themselves they can handle it alone. But I never designed them to handle everything alone. Your soulmate has been waking up tired even after sleeping. Their thoughts feel heavier than before. Their body has moments where it feels unfamiliar, like something is off, but they cannot explain it. Sometimes they feel sudden discomfort and quickly brush it aside. Other times, their heart feels heavy without a clear reason. They have ignored these signs because they believe stopping means weakness. But I say to you now, rest is not weakness. Listening is not weakness. Asking for help is not weakness. My child, the reason I am speaking to you is because your prayers reach them in ways they don't even realize. When you think of them suddenly, when you whisper their name without knowing why, when you feel an urge to protect them, that is not imagination. That is spiritual responsibility. You are connected at the soul level. If this message had not reached you now, the imbalance would have continued quietly. Weeks would have passed. Months perhaps. And then the body would have spoken louder, through stronger symptoms, deeper fatigue, more fear. But I stopped it here. Right now. In this moment. Because I am merciful. Your soulmate does not know how close they came to ignoring a warning that mattered. They do not know how many times angels stood near them while they slept, stabilizing what was beginning to weaken. They do not know that heaven has been watching their body carefully. But you know now. And knowing changes everything. Do not panic. Panic closes the door to healing. Instead, let awareness rise. Let prayer soften the pressure. Let love begin to cover what stress has been attacking. Tonight, when you think of them, do not think in fear. Think in authority. Speak life, not illness. Peace, not panic. Strength, not weakness. Even if you say nothing out loud, your intention will travel faster than words. I am not asking you to diagnose. I am not asking you to worry. I am asking you to align. Because alignment invites protection. Your soulmate's body is not betraying them, it is asking to be heard. And because you opened this message, because you listened instead of scrolling away, because your spirit recognized mine, I have already begun to shift things. The warning has been delivered. The damage has been paused. The door has not fully opened. My child, there is a weight your soulmate has been carrying that was never meant to rest inside their body. It did not begin as pain. It began as silence. Silence after disappointment. Silence after being misunderstood. Silence after choosing peace instead of speaking truth. Over time, that silence settled deep, turning into pressure, and pressure always looks for a place to live. Your soulmate learned very early how to stay strong for others. They learned how to say, "I'm fine," even when something inside them felt unsettled. They learned how to protect people's feelings while slowly neglecting their own. Each time they swallowed their truth to avoid conflict, a small tension formed. Each time they chose responsibility over rest, another layer built up. None of this happened suddenly. It happened gently, quietly, day after day. I want you to understand this clearly. The body listens to the soul. When the soul feels unheard for too long, the body begins to speak. There is an emotional root that opened the door to this weakness. It is not anger. It is not hatred. It is unexpressed grief mixed with long-term emotional pressure. Your soulmate has been grieving something they never allowed themselves to mourn properly. A loss that others may not even recognize as a loss. A version of life they expected. A sense of safety they once felt. A relationship dynamic where they were always the giver and rarely the one being held. They told themselves, "This is just how life is." They told themselves, "Others have it worse." They told themselves, "I don't want to be a burden." But my child, grief does not disappear when ignored. It waits. And while it waits, it weighs. Your soulmate has been living in a constant state of emotional alertness. Even when things seem calm, their body does not fully relax. Their mind keeps scanning, preparing, anticipating. This is not weakness, it is the result of being strong for too long without relief. Their nervous system has forgotten how to feel safe at rest. That is why their sleep feels shallow. That is why their body feels tired even after doing nothing. That is why small stresses feel heavier than they should. The body is not broken. It is overwhelmed. There is one particular emotion they never gave permission to leave their chest. Fear of disappointing others. Fear of being seen as selfish. Fear of choosing themselves and being judged for it. This fear sat quietly, tightening little by little, until it began affecting how their body holds tension. Your soulmate often ignores their own limits. When their body whispers, they tell it to be quiet. When it asks for rest, they negotiate. When it asks for honesty, they delay. Over time, the body learns that it must speak louder to be heard. That is why the signs began appearing. Not as punishment. Not as fate. But as communication. I allowed you to hear this because your presence in their life is not accidental. Your energy soothes what has been tightening inside them. When they think of you, even briefly, their breath deepens without them noticing. When your name crosses their mind, something softens. You represent safety to their spirit, even if they have not said it out loud. There is also something they have not forgiven themselves for yet. A decision they made under pressure. A moment where they feel they failed someone, or failed themselves. They replay it sometimes in their mind late at night. They wonder if things would have been different if they had spoken up, chosen differently, trusted themselves more. This self-blame has been heavy. Guilt that stays inside the body does not remain emotional, it becomes physical weight. It tightens muscles, disrupts rest, and keeps the body in a subtle state of defense. Your soulmate has been carrying this quietly, telling themselves they deserve to endure it. But I never asked them to punish themselves to prove their worth. The weakness trying to enter their body found space only because their emotional load went unspoken for too long. It thrives where compassion toward oneself is missing. It grows where rest is postponed. It strengthens where truth is delayed. And still, hear me clearly, this weakness does not own them. The moment awareness enters, its power begins to dissolve. Your soulmate does not need to relive every memory or reopen every wound. What they need is permission to release what they were never meant to carry forever. Permission to rest without guilt. Permission to say, enough, without explaining themselves to everyone. You play a role here, even without saying a word. When you hold them in calm intention instead of worry, their body feels it. When you think of them with compassion instead of fear, something loosens. When you refuse to imagine worst-case outcomes, you help close the door that fear tries to open. I am already guiding them toward moments of pause. Toward small breaks they cannot ignore. Toward conversations they can no longer avoid having with themselves. What once felt like pushing through will begin to feel uncomfortable, forcing change. This is not collapse. This is correction. Their body is asking for alignment with the truth their soul already knows. They cannot continue living as if their needs come last. There will be moments soon when they feel an urge to slow down, to cancel plans, to choose rest without a clear reason. Do not resist this in your thoughts. Bless it. These moments are repair. I am gently teaching their body how to feel safe again. The emotional root has been exposed not to shame them, but to free them. What was hidden no longer controls. What is seen can be healed. What is acknowledged loses its grip. Hold this truth close, my child, nothing has gone too far. Nothing is irreversible. Nothing has been missed. The door that was beginning to open is now being guarded. Stay grounded. Stay calm. Stay loving in your thoughts toward them. What you radiate reaches them more than you know. I am with them. I am with you. And the balance that was disturbed is already being restored. My child, there was a moment not long ago when your soulmate's body reached a quiet edge, an edge no one around them noticed. The world continued as usual. Conversations flowed. Lights stayed on. But inside, something wavered. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Softly. Like a flame bending under a sudden breath of wind. They did not collapse. They did not cry out. They simply paused, longer than usual. Their breath felt different. Their chest felt heavier, or strangely empty. Their body sent a signal so subtle they almost dismissed it. Almost. That moment mattered more than they know. I was there. When the body is overwhelmed for too long, it chooses moments of stillness to ask for help. It may happen late at night when thoughts finally slow. Or early in the morning when the mind is not yet armored. Or in the middle of a normal day, when nothing appears wrong on the outside. That is when the body speaks most honestly. Your soulmate felt it then. A quiet warning that said, please slow down. Not fear. Not pain. Just a deep, unfamiliar awareness. Angels were near in that moment. Not because danger had already won, but because protection was already active. When the body feels unstable, heaven does not wait for collapse. Heaven steadies. Heaven surrounds. Heaven intervenes quietly. There are nights when your soulmate lies still, staring into the dark, feeling both tired and unable to rest. Their body wants sleep, but their system stays alert, as if it is guarding against something unseen. This is what happens when stress becomes habit. The body forgets how to fully let go. But hear me clearly, I did not allow this moment to turn into harm. I slowed time for them in ways they could not see. I softened the internal pressure. I adjusted rhythms that were drifting out of balance. What could have intensified instead stabilized? What could have frightened instead became a gentle signal. You may have felt something too, without knowing why. A sudden urge to check your phone. A wave of concern that came and went. A thought of them appearing unexpectedly. These were not random. When souls are connected, shifts in one are often felt by the other. Your awareness arrived exactly when it was needed. Your soulmate's body has been living in survival mode longer than they realize. Even during calm days, their system remains prepared for stress. This constant readiness drains energy quietly. Over time, it weakens natural resilience, not because they are fragile, but because they are human. There was a moment when their body asked a question their mind could not answer: how long will we keep going like this? That question did not need words. The body asked it through sensation. This was not a breaking point. This was a turning point. I allowed awareness to surface before fear could take root. Before imagination could run wild. Before damage could settle. Awareness is powerful because it invites choice. And choice opens the door to change. Your soulmate did not tell anyone about that moment. They did not even label it. They brushed it aside, took a breath, and continued. But something inside them shifted. A subtle knowing appeared. A sense that they cannot ignore themselves forever. That is when I began redirecting gently. Small interruptions started appearing in their routine. Delays. Sudden tiredness. A need to sit down when they normally wouldn't. These are not obstacles. These are signals guiding them back into balance. I want you to understand something important: the body never turns against the soul. It speaks for it. When the soul feels unheard, the body raises its voice, not to threaten, but to protect. The weakness that tried to enter found resistance sooner than expected. It encountered awareness, intention, and divine timing. That combination is powerful. It does not argue with illness, it dissolves its permission. Your soulmate's body responded quickly to being noticed. Even without conscious effort, once attention arrived, internal systems began recalibrating. Breath patterns adjusted. Tension softened. The nervous system felt the presence of safety, even if only briefly. Safety changes everything. You represent safety to them in ways neither of you fully understands yet. Your energy does not demand. It does not rush. It does not pressure. It allows. When they think of you, their body feels less guarded. This is not romantic imagination, it is physiological truth. Calm spreads where trust exists. That moment when their body nearly faltered did not mark weakness, it marked the beginning of honesty. Their body stopped pretending it could carry everything alone. That honesty is healing. I am guiding them now toward rest that does not feel like failure. Toward pauses that do not feel lazy. Toward moments of stillness that repair rather than threaten their sense of worth. They may soon feel drawn to quiet. To silence. To being alone without distraction. This is not withdrawal. This is integration. The body uses quiet to reset what noise disrupted. Do not fear these changes. They are not signs of decline. They are signs of correction. I am also strengthening their intuition. They will begin noticing their limits more clearly. What once felt manageable will feel heavy sooner. And that is a gift. It prevents further strain. It teaches discernment. Your role remains gentle. Do not watch them with anxiety. Do not imagine fragile futures. Hold them in steadiness. Calm intention supports healing more than constant concern ever could. There is no emergency now. There is no countdown. There is no loss approaching. The edge they reached has already passed. The balance that wavered is being restored piece by piece. I allowed you to hear this so fear would not write its own story. Awareness replaces fear. Truth steadies the heart. Presence brings peace. Your soulmate is being protected in ways they cannot yet name. Their body is learning that it does not have to shout to be heard. And their soul is beginning to trust that rest is allowed. Everything is aligning back into order. Stay grounded. Stay calm. Stay loving in your thoughts. What almost overwhelmed them has already been turned into a lesson, not a wound. I am still with them. I am still guiding. And the path ahead grows steadier with each breath they take. My child, the shift that has begun inside your soulmate will not reverse. What has been noticed cannot return to being ignored. Once awareness enters the body, it changes how the body responds to everything. Your soulmate may not be able to explain it, but they are already feeling different. Not dramatic. Not sudden. Just clearer. More sensitive to their own limits. More aware of what drains them and what quietly restores them. This is where healing becomes active. Their body is no longer asking loudly. It is now responding to gentle correction. When rest appears, it will feel necessary rather than optional. When silence comes, it will feel relieving rather than uncomfortable. When they say no to something that once felt mandatory, their body will breathe easier. This is not weakness emerging. This is wisdom returning. I am guiding them towards simple adjustments that carry great power. Earlier nights. Slower mornings. Pauses that break long cycles of tension. These are not small changes. These are the foundations of restoration. The body heals best when it feels respected. Your soulmate has lived for too long as if their worth depended on endurance. They learned to measure their value by how much they could carry without complaint. But the body was never meant to prove strength by suffering. Strength is balance. Strength is sustainability. Strength is knowing when to stop. They are beginning to feel this truth. There will be moments when they suddenly feel the need to step back from noise. Crowds may feel heavier than before. Conversations that drain rather than nourish will lose their appeal. This is not avoidance. This is discernment. The body knows which environments support healing and which ones prolong strain. I am also loosening the emotional tightness that lived in their chest. That pressure that once felt constant will begin to come and go instead of staying fixed. Their breath will deepen without effort. Their shoulders will relax without conscious thought. These are signs of the nervous system remembering safety. Do not underestimate these subtle shifts. The most lasting healing rarely arrives with drama. It arrives quietly, steadily, naturally. Your soulmate may find themselves reflecting more. Not in a heavy way, but in an honest one. They may realize that they have been too hard on themselves. That they have given more than they received in many situations. That they have postponed their own needs far too often. This realization will not break them. It will free them. With this freedom comes a new boundary forming inside them. A boundary that says, I matter too. That boundary protects the body as much as it protects the heart. When emotional boundaries strengthen, physical resilience follows. I am also drawing them closer to moments of comfort they once dismissed. Warmth. Stillness. Familiar spaces. Gentle routines. These things repair what constant urgency eroded. The body heals in environments where it does not feel rushed. You may notice their energy changing. Less frantic. Less tense. More grounded. Even if challenges remain, their response to them will soften. They will stop pushing through discomfort automatically. They will listen first. This is where the door that once threatened to open begins to close completely. The weakness that tried to enter cannot survive where awareness lives. It fades when stress no longer dominates. It loses power when rest becomes regular and truth becomes welcome. I want you to stay steady in your own heart. Do not check on them through worry. Worry tightens what is loosening. Trust expands what is healing. When you think of them, imagine calm flowing through their body. Imagine their breath slow and even. These images matter more than you know. There will be moments when they feel emotional without clear reason. Let this happen. This is release. Emotion stored for too long finally finding a way out. Tears, quiet reflection, or even sudden tiredness are signs of unloading, not decline. Nothing is going wrong. Everything is reordering itself back into alignment. Their body is learning a new language, one where pain is not the only way to be heard. Their soul is learning that it does not need to earn rest. Their spirit is learning that safety can exist without constant vigilance. I am guiding each step carefully. Nothing is being rushed. Nothing is being forced. Healing that is forced does not last. Healing that is allowed becomes permanent. You do not need to intervene. You do not need to instruct. Your calm presence in the unseen is enough. Your steadiness supports their progress. The pressure that once built quietly is now being dismantled layer by layer. What took time to form will take gentle time to release, and that is okay. The body understands patience better than the mind ever could. Stay connected, not anxious. Stay loving, not alert. What needed attention has received it. What needed adjustment is being adjusted. Balance is returning. Strength is rebuilding. And the path ahead is no longer strained. I am still here, guiding the restoration you cannot see but will soon feel. My child, what began as a quiet warning has now become a gentle restoration. Nothing remains unresolved. Nothing hangs in danger. The body that once carried too much without rest is now learning a new rhythm, one of balance, one of cooperation, one of peace. Your soulmate's body is responding to care, even when that care arrives slowly. Healing is not always felt as sudden relief. Often, it feels like steadiness returning. Like waking up without that familiar heaviness. Like breathing without noticing the breath. Like moving through a day without feeling constantly drained. These are sacred signs. I am sealing protection around their body now, not with force, not with fear, but with order. When the body returns to order, illness finds no place to settle. What thrives on chaos cannot survive in peace. The weakness that once searched for entry has lost its permission. It no longer finds the same conditions it needs. The tension has softened. The emotional weight has been acknowledged. The pressure that once compressed their strength has been released, piece by piece. Your soulmate's body is not fragile. It is resilient. It remembers how to heal when it is no longer silenced. Cells respond to calm. Systems respond to rest. The body repairs itself when it is not constantly defending. I am restoring their natural rhythm. The rhythm they had before life demanded too much too often. Their sleep will deepen. Their energy will stabilize. Their body will begin to trust itself again. Trust is healing. There is a quiet blessing flowing now through their nervous system. Where alertness once dominated, ease will return. Where exhaustion lingered, renewal will follow. This does not mean every day will feel perfect. It means the body will no longer feel threatened by its own pace. Your soulmate will begin to sense this shift without needing words. They may simply feel lighter. More present. Less burdened by invisible weight. Even challenges will feel different, manageable instead of overwhelming. I am also strengthening their intuition. They will know when to rest without guilt. They will recognize when to stop without explaining themselves. They will honor signals that once went ignored. This wisdom protects them more powerfully than effort ever did. You, too, are covered in this blessing. The connection between you and your soulmate has been purified, not strained by fear, not distorted by worry, but grounded in calm assurance. When one steadies, the other feels it. When one heals, the connection breathes easier. Let go now of any lingering fear. Fear served its purpose only to draw attention. Its job is complete. It does not belong in what comes next. What comes next is peace. Peace in their body. Peace in their breath. Peace in the quiet moments they once rushed past. I am closing every door that should never have opened. I am restoring strength where stress once lingered. I am blessing their body with longevity, resilience, and clarity. Nothing is chasing them. Nothing is approaching unseen. Nothing is being missed. They are safe. Their body is protected. Their spirit is supported. Their path is stable. You do not need to monitor. You do not need to remain alert. Rest your heart. Trust what has been set back into order. When divine correction completes its work, it leaves no loose ends. I bless their body now with ease. I bless their mind with quiet. I bless their nights with rest. I bless their days with steady strength. And I bless you, my child, for listening without fear, for staying present without panic, for trusting instead of imagining loss. Your openness allowed this restoration to complete gently. Go forward in calm assurance. Carry no burden from this message. Hold only peace. What needed healing is healing. What needed protection is protected. And what needed balance has been restored. I remain with you both, steady, watchful, and faithful. My child, settle your heart and breathe slowly, because what I am placing over you and your soulmate now is not a warning, not a correction, but a deep covering. This is the kind of covering that remains even when words fade. It settles into the bones. It stays when emotions rise and fall. It protects without noise. Your soulmate's body is no longer standing alone. It is being held. Held by order. Held by rhythm. Held by a peace that does not depend on circumstances. There are layers of tension that lived inside them for so long, they forgot those layers were not part of who they are. They mistook pressure for personality. They mistook endurance for identity. Now, gently, without force, those layers are loosening. Not all at once. Not violently. But truthfully. The body knows when it is finally safe to let go. Your soulmate may begin to notice moments where they stop bracing themselves. Moments where they realize their jaw is unclenched. Their breath is deep. Their shoulders are not lifted in defense. These moments are not accidental. They are signs that the body is stepping out of survival and back into living. Survival kept them functioning. Living will restore them. I am guiding their system back into harmony. The heartbeat finds its natural pace. The breath finds its depth. The mind learns it does not need to run ahead of the present moment. When these align, the body heals in ways no effort can replicate. There were days when your soulmate woke up already tired. Not because they lacked sleep, but because they lacked rest. Rest is not only sleep. Rest is safety. And safety has been scarce for them emotionally, even when life appeared normal. That scarcity is ending. The body does not forget pain easily, but it does remember safety quickly when safety is consistent. I am making safety consistent now. Through calm routines. Through slower transitions. Through moments where nothing is demanded of them. Your soulmate is learning that nothing bad happens when they stop pushing. The world does not collapse. Love does not disappear. Worth does not diminish. This realization is powerful. It rewrites old beliefs that lived silently inside them. Beliefs like, I must endure to be valued. I must stay strong or I will be left. I cannot slow down or everything will fall apart. These beliefs once kept them moving. Now they are being released. As these beliefs loosen, the body responds with relief. Muscles soften. Digestion improves. Sleep deepens. Energy becomes steadier instead of sharp and draining. Healing shows up first in these quiet ways. I am also placing a shield over their mind. Not a shield that blocks thought, but one that filters what enters. Overthinking loses its grip. Replaying old moments loses its urgency. The mind begins to rest inside the present instead of roaming through imagined futures. Peace does not arrive by force. It arrives when fear loses its authority. Your soulmate will begin to feel moments of gratitude without knowing why. A simple sense of, I am okay right now. These moments are anchors. They ground the body in the present, where healing always happens. And you, my child, are part of this anchoring. The connection between you carries calm, not demand. When your soulmate senses you, through thought, memory, or feeling, their body reads it as safety. This is why your presence matters even in silence. Even without words exchanged. Even without physical closeness. You do not need to fix them. You do not need to rescue them. Your steadiness is enough. I am aligning both of you into a gentler pace. A pace where love does not feel rushed. Where connection does not feel like effort. Where the future does not feel like a threat that must be controlled. Your soulmate's body will continue to strengthen quietly. There may be days when old tiredness briefly returns. Do not misinterpret this. Release often comes in waves. Each wave removes something deeper. Each wave leaves the body lighter than before. Healing is not a straight line. It is a spiral that keeps moving upward. There will be clarity where confusion once lived. They will understand themselves better. They will recognize when something is too much. They will honor their limits without guilt. This self-respect is medicine. I am blessing their body with resilience that does not require suffering to prove itself. Resilience that comes from balance. From listening. From honoring truth. I am also blessing their future. A future where health is not something they fear losing, but something they trust to maintain. A future where their body supports their dreams instead of resisting them. A future where love does not cost them their peace. Nothing is lurking in the shadows. Nothing is waiting to take from them. Nothing is unresolved. What once tried to form has dissolved. Now, hear this and let it settle deeply. Your soulmate's body is not fragile. It is intelligent. It knows how to repair. It knows how to adapt. It knows how to return to equilibrium when given permission. And permission has been given. I am sealing this restoration with calm continuity. Not a temporary lift, but a lasting adjustment. The kind that becomes the new normal. The kind that does not require constant attention to maintain. Your soulmate will not need to watch themselves anxiously. Their body will guide them naturally. Signals will be clearer. Responses will be gentler. Trust will replace tension. This is the gift of alignment. I am also lifting something from you, my child. The subtle responsibility you felt to worry. The quiet fear that something bad might happen if you looked away. You are released from that burden. Love does not require vigilance. Love thrives in trust. You may now think of your soulmate with ease. Without scanning for danger. Without preparing for loss. Without holding your breath. Exhale. The season of alertness is over. The season of restoration is active. Carry this peace forward. Let it influence how you move, how you rest, how you love. Peace is contagious. When you embody it, those connected to you feel it too. I bless the space between you with calm. I bless the path ahead with steadiness. I bless the days to come with quiet strength. Nothing is urgent now. Nothing is threatening. Nothing needs to be fixed. What needed attention received it. What needed care received it. What needed protection has been fully covered. Remain in trust. Remain in softness. Remain in peace. I am holding both of you, today, tomorrow, and beyond, without strain, without fear, without condition. And this holding will not be lifted. My child, come closer in spirit and let everything else fall quiet now. What I am speaking in this moment is not meant to stir your thoughts, but to settle them. Not to awaken concern, but to close a chapter gently and completely. You have walked through awareness, correction, restoration, and now you arrive at completion. Completion does not shout. Completion does not rush. Completion arrives like calm after a long storm, when the body finally realizes it no longer needs to brace itself. Your soulmate has entered that calm. The body that once carried hidden pressure is no longer holding its breath. The systems that were tense are learning a new language, one of cooperation instead of resistance. Healing has moved past effort and into habit. What once required attention now flows naturally. This is how true restoration settles in. Your soulmate's body has re-entered alignment with its own wisdom. It is no longer fighting against itself. It is no longer compensating for emotional weight that did not belong to it. It is no longer whispering warnings to be heard. It is listening, responding, and repairing quietly. You may not see fireworks. You may not feel dramatic shifts. And that is good. Because what lasts does not need spectacle. The nights that once carried restlessness are softening. Sleep becomes deeper, not because exhaustion demands it, but because peace allows it. The mornings feel less heavy. The day unfolds without the constant undercurrent of strain. Even when challenges appear, they do not land as deeply in the body as they once did. This is balance returning. I want you to understand something important: the body remembers everything. But it also knows how to forget what no longer serves it. Once safety becomes consistent, the body releases old patterns without resistance. It does not cling to pain. It lets go when it no longer needs protection. Your soulmate's body no longer needs protection from itself. The emotional burdens that once lived quietly inside have been acknowledged and released. Not through force. Not through confrontation. But through permission. Permission to rest. Permission to feel. Permission to stop proving strength through endurance. That permission changed everything. There is now a gentle confidence settling into them. Not loud. Not performative. A quiet knowing that they do not need to rush life. That they are allowed to move at a pace that honors their body. That nothing valuable will be lost if they slow down. This confidence is stabilizing their health more than any fear ever could. Their body responds to this inner safety with resilience. Immune strength stabilizes. Energy distributes more evenly. The nervous system no longer stays in constant alert. The body remembers how to repair during rest instead of waiting for collapse. I am blessing this restoration to last. Not for a season. Not temporarily. But as a new foundation. Your soulmate will not return to the old way of living because their body will not allow it. And that is a gift. When the body learns a better way, it refuses to go back to suffering for the sake of habit. I am also blessing the connection between you. The fear that once hovered quietly between you has dissolved. Fear does not belong in love. Fear does not protect destiny. Trust does. Calm does. Presence does. You are no longer meant to hold concern for their body in your heart. That chapter is closed. When you think of them now, let the thought be gentle. Let it carry warmth instead of watchfulness. Let it carry peace instead of anticipation. Love that watches for danger becomes tired. Love that trusts becomes strong. Your soulmate will feel this shift from you. They will feel lighter around you, even without knowing why. Their body will associate you with ease. With grounding. With steadiness. This association supports everything that has been restored. Nothing in this journey was wasted. The warning came to awaken awareness. The awareness created correction. The correction allowed healing. The healing led to balance. And balance now leads to peace. I am sealing peace into their body in a way that does not fade when emotions change. Peace that remains even on busy days. Peace that holds even when life becomes noisy. Peace that anchors them from within. Your soulmate's future is not marked by illness. It is marked by wisdom. By boundaries. By self-respect. By a body that communicates clearly and is listened to. They will age with awareness, not neglect. They will grow with strength, not strain. They will live in a body that supports their purpose instead of resisting it. I am also speaking to you now, my child. Release the habit of bracing for loss. Release the belief that love must always be guarded. Release the tension you carried quietly, thinking it was responsibility. You are allowed to rest too. Your heart does not need to stay alert. Your spirit does not need to monitor outcomes. What matters is already held. The season ahead for you both carries steadiness. The days will feel more grounded. Decisions will come with clarity instead of urgency. Emotions will move through without overwhelming the body. This is what alignment looks like when it completes its work. I bless your soulmate's body now with continued harmony. I bless their mind with clarity and ease. I bless their spirit with confidence and calm. I bless their nights with deep rest. I bless their days with balanced energy. I bless their future with resilience that does not require suffering. And I bless you. I bless your heart with trust. I bless your thoughts with peace. I bless your path with quiet assurance. Nothing needs to be watched now. Nothing needs to be anticipated. Nothing needs to be feared. What came to warn has fulfilled its purpose. What came to heal has completed its work. What came to protect remains. Walk forward without carrying this story as a burden. Let it remain only as a reminder of how gently things can be corrected when listened to in time. You are safe. Your soulmate is safe. The path ahead is stable. I remain with you both, not as urgency, not as alarm, but as steady presence. And that presence does not leave when the message ends. Carry this calm into your life. Let it guide how you move. Let it soften how you love. Everything that needed attention has been attended to. Everything that needed healing is healing. Everything that needed peace now rests in it. And so it is sealed.